Gentlemen, welcome to our May 7th regular meeting of the Kenton County Planning Commission. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'd remain standing for our invocation, please.
As we, the members of this commission, gather here today, we ask that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render service to our fellow citizens and to our community. Let us continue to strive to make a better world by always keeping in mind the enduring values of life, and let us exert our efforts in those areas upon which future generations may build with confidence. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Ms. Langfels, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Armbruster? Commissioner Baumgardner?
Here.
Commissioner Bridges?
Present.
Commissioner Darfel? Commissioner DeAngelis?
Here.
Commissioner Dickey?
Here.
Commissioner Dunham?
Here.
Commissioner Flem?
Here.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner Heydrich?
Here.
Commissioner Herman?
Here.
Commissioner James?
Here.
Commissioner Ryan?
Here.
Commissioner Simpson?
Here.
Commissioner Sketch? Commissioner Snyder?
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Here.
Commissioner Wickman?
Here.
All right.
Commissioner Martin.
And Burling.
Martin and Burley. You're not on here.
I know. Did I get released?
What in the
Officially
world?
released?
There's something you guys need to tell us.
I know what's going on.
All right. Let's see. Next item, we have the review of public hearing procedures. Just some housekeeping items that I'm required to share with you all. There are two exits from the room, the doors that you came in, and also around here with the alcove. Under normal circumstances, please exit the doors that you entered from. The fire codes prohibit blocking the doors and aisles. Restrooms are located outside the main doors, right around the bend. Food and drinks are not permitted in the public section of this room. And please turn your cell phones to vibrate so as to not interrupt our proceedings. Very important, if you wish to speak on any of the matters that we're going to be covering this evening, you need to, and you want to speak, or at least have the option to speak, make sure you sign up for that item on the sign-up sheet over there on that table, please. And then for those individuals who are going to speak this evening, make sure when you come up to the mic, you speak clearly, because this is being telecast, and state your name and address for the record, please. So I think that's it. Commissioners, you have the agenda in front of you. Any changes to propose? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as it stands.
All right.
Second.
First by Commissioner Snyder, second by Commissioner Ryan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. The next item of business is the second review of our March 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. There's some additional cleanup items in there. Any issues with the minutes? Otherwise, we will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a question.
Yep.
Are we doing the changes through email and not discussing them here anymore, or?
We can discuss them if we just didn't want to bog down the whole, meeting, so it gets circulated in advance. You can look at it, and then it's presented.
Well, I guess I'm just getting confused on what comes out, because like we had changes and there was gonna be another email that came out, so, I don't know,
Well, you should, with your materials, should be the most up-to-date
Okay.
version of the minutes.
I just wanna say, I think I would like to discuss any changes at the meeting, so we're all voting on the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
We know what the discussion is,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns about
No, I
any of
don't,
these minutes?
I don't,
Okay.
I saw the email saying there was gonna be changes, and I was like, okay, and I have to pay attention to try and make sure with my work and everything else, to see another email, and then I was like, what did we change, and I'm trying to pay attention.
Yeah.
I kinda like the way we used to do it was, we come in, we discuss any typo or anything that needed to be changed, or I say, I didn't vote on that or whatever, and we would change them then, and then
that's fine. I think that's fine. All right, if everyone's okay with the March 5th meeting minutes, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
First by Commissioner Bridges, second by Commissioner Snyder. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgardner,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner Flem,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman,
Yes.
Commissioner Janes,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
and Commissioner Burling.
Abstain.
I would like to vote, madam.
What?
I would like to vote.
Bridges.
Me
Oh,
too. You
Bridges.
didn't call us to say
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider.
yes. I
Yep.
apologize.
Yeah, that's, start. Okay, next is, our meeting minutes from the March 30th meeting. Any questions, comments, proposed changes? Otherwise, we'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Bridges, second by Commissioner Snyder. Any discussion? Not, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner Flem,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman,
Yes.
Commissioner Janes,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Abstain?
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Abstain.
Commissioner Burling,
Abstain.
Commissioner Baumgardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see, the next item is the report of receipts and expenditures. Any questions? The treasurer has any comments?
That all looks good.
Okay. All right, we will entertain a motion to approve the receipts and expenditures for March.
I'll make a motion to approve the receipts and expenditures for March.
All right, all right, so we have a first by Commissioner Ryan, second by Commissioner Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's approved. The next item is our 2026-2027 proposed budget. We have a presentation here.
Good evening. For the record, I'm Nicole Cullum. I'm going to go over your proposed budget for fiscal year ending 2027. Your total projected revenues are $1,857,248. The primary sources on that are the PDS contractual contribution at $1,688,148. Your application fees estimated at $135,000, and then your interest income estimated at $34,000. Your total appropriations are projected to be at $1,846,248, with a projected net surplus of $11,000, and this will be applied to the surety interest reserve fund. Your strategic investments include an addition, or funds added to your education and training funds for your professional development, additional funds to the website and technology line item to, we're hoping to migrate your email accounts over to Outlook from Network Solutions. This will provide a better user experience, as well as it'll be easier for staff to manage your accounts. So there's a one-time fee in there to help migrate those accounts from our IT provider. And then there are additional funds in there. We expect an increase with our annual audit next year. And then legal services, there's a modest increase in there of $2,600. Your fund balance, your projected fund balance going into the next fiscal year is $668,174. The biggest reserve is $500,000, and just as a reminder, that is the threshold established in your bylaws. Your surety interest reserve is projected at $64,920, And then your projected unassigned fund balance is $103,254. This is your your revenues minus your expenditures. And when your executive committee spoke to go over this budget, they had decided that we should wait till the end of till the fiscal year closes to bring back an actual amount to decide what we need to do with those funds for next fiscal year. That's just to help keep cash flow streamlined. That is all I have for you on your budget. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it looks like the staff services line
Mhm.
shows a decrease of almost $150,000. Am I looking at that correctly?
Yeah, so PDS's expenses decreased this year.
Okay.
And it just happened naturally. We didn't cut anything. It's just something that happened due to retirements.
Got it.
So that reflects on your budget as well.
Got it. Thank you for
Yep.
the explanation.
Yep.
All right, good question. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the proposed budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed budget.
Do we have a second?
Second.
First by Commissioner Ryan, second by Commissioner Snyder. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes?
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgartner,
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner Flem,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman,
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
All right. Commissioner Simpson's in, has joined the meeting.
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
Okay, next item is the fee schedule for the upcoming fiscal year.
Right, so in your packets, you had the proposed fee schedule. It does have an increase of 3%, and just as a reminder, we use the Bureau of Labor Statistics March numbers in order to come up with that CPI number. We were asked several years ago to increase it annually in small amounts rather than waiting several years and do a big jump after so many years. So, any questions on your fees?
I would just add, that was a request really from the home building community. It was just tough for them to budget for those years when it would be a big bump. So that's why we agreed to the CPI increase, just to track it that way. So it's worked out pretty well, I think.
Yes.
And just another point too on the CPI from the Southern District. In February, it comes out in March, correct, Nicole?
Yes,
In February, it was 1.8. So in 1 month, it jumped from 1.8 to 3%.
Yeah.
So we were teetering at 1.82%, but had a big jump all of a sudden.
yeah.
How does our schedule compare to other schedules? High,
Uh,
low, average?
Yeah, we looked at that when I met with the executive committee, and we found that we're pretty comparable to other counties in our area.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like we're kind of on the lower
Lower
end,
side,
yeah.
yeah.
So, all right, good questions. Any other questions? All right, if not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the fee schedule.
I'll make a motion to approve the current fee schedule.
All right, first by Commissioner Ryan, second by Commissioner Snyder. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Ryan,
Yes?
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Schneider,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgartner,
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner Flem,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman,
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
All right, get everybody? Okay, so that is approved. Next is, in your packet, you should have had a report of last month's actions by staff, the subdivision plat letter, Stage 2 updates, and there were no cell tower updates. Any questions for staff? There was also a report of last month's actions by our legislative bodies. Saw that. Any questions on that one? No? All right, that brings us to our Fort Wright Public Facility Review. This is file number PC-26-0002-PF. It's the Fort Wright Public Facility Review. The applicant is the City of Fort Wright. The location is 409 Kyles Lane in Fort Wright. The request is a public facility review per KRS 100.324 and KRS 147.680. Summary is that the applicant is proposing to construct a new salt storage building with a 45-foot diameter and a height of 28 feet. The proposed salt storage building will be 69 feet from the nearest property line in common with 406 Kentucky Drive, and will include an asphalt apron and landscaping features. Mr. Sheets?
Thank you. For the record, my name is Cody Sheets with PDS staff. As the chair stated, this is a public facility review to construct a new salt storage building with a 45-foot diameter, which will include an asphalt apron and landscaping features. The site is located within the first ring suburban sub-area of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The site is 5.1 acres and is located on the north side of Highland Drive. It currently contains 2 existing buildings, including the Fort Wright City Building and a separate Public Works building. The specific location of the proposed salt storage shed is highlighted with the red star there. The area of the salt storage building was a former park space and playground named Fort Top, which has been removed for the construction of the future salt storage building. The city provided pictures of the proposed building location. The proposed salt shed will be roughly the same height as the existing buildings. The property zoned institutional and the surrounding area is primarily zoned single-family residential. The existing land use is institutional and the surrounding areas are primarily single-family residential. The submitted development and plan and associated materials indicate the following: a roughly 600 square foot asphalt apron, a 4-foot concrete walk which will connect the sidewalks, an approximately 1,590 square foot accessory structure used for salt storage. And at the closest point, the proposed building will be 69 feet from 406 Kentucky Drive, located to the west. The proposed building will be 28 feet in height. There are proposals for an 18 by 15 foot door, which will be either a sliding or overhead door. The city has provided pictures of similar structures for reference. And the city also provided an image of the adjacent structure to highlight the proposed materials that will be used in the salt storage building to match. There were landscaping plans which were submitted as well. They show a 2 to 3 foot mound around the ground line of the proposed structure. The proposed structure will be sunk into the mound at a slightly lower elevation. Shielding area for vegetation around the backside of the proposed structure. 2 existing landscaping beds, a bush line which will be extended, and 5 existing pine trees. There were images of the proposed and existing landscaping as well. Highland Pike is classified as a minor arterial and Kyles Lane is classified as a major collector. The proposed development is consistent with the recommended land use, which does identify the area as other community facilities. There are no areas of DSA on the site. And staff did conduct a full review of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan, and we do find the following areas of consistency. The proposed development will provide efforts to incorporate system-wide planning amongst emergency services, as well as other departments to respond to sudden crises and ongoing pressures. KRS 100 states that public facilities must be reviewed by the Planning Commission. And KRS 100 also states that instrumentalities of the state are exempt from zoning requirements. We do find that the proposed accessory facility is in agreement with the comprehensive plan. We find that the submitted public facilities request is generally consistent with the goals, objectives, and recommendations of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The proposed accessory structure helps to identify existing utilities that need to be improved. The proposed building provides additional flexibility to ensure adequate emergency response services are provided to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. And per KRS 100, the city of Fort Wright is an instrumentality of the state and therefore exempt from local zoning regulations. However, in order to ensure the proper integration of the proposed development into the surrounding area, staff does recommend that buffer yard requirements for institutional uses, which are adjacent to residential uses, are observed. And table 7.9 here does show those required buffer yards for reference. I'd be more than happy to take any questions.
All right, any questions for Mr. Sheets?
Mr. Sheets, just out of curiosity, are there many cities that have their own salt shelter?
It sounds like this would be somewhat unique,
Okay.
but the applicant may be able to speak further to that.
Any other questions for staff? All right, thank you. Signed up to speak, we have Jill Bailey with the City of Fort Wright and Marty Hellman with Verdantas, also representing Fort Wright. Ms. Bailey,
Hi.
how are you?
Good evening. My name's Jill Bailey. I'm the city administrator for the city of Fort Wright. I wanted to introduce my team to you. This is Marty Hellman with Verdantis. He's our city engineer. And Jeff Bethel, our public works director, is also here this evening. We're happy to answer any questions that you have about this project. We're excited to see it come to Fort Wright.
Any questions for our applicant? No? Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Bethel, tell your father we said hello. We miss him on the commission. All right, so that's all we have signed up to speak. We will recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners. As a reminder, this and the other public facility review, they're not subject to zoning, but they're required to have the planning commission review it and determine whether or not we believe it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. We heard the reason staff has indicated that they believe it's consistent. Any issues? Nope. All right, hearing none, we'll return to the public hearing. Any clarifications needed of staff or the applicant? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and we will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion, Chair,
Please.
regarding file number PC-26-0002-PF, applicant the City of Fort Wright, a public review of the proposed salt storage building. I'd like to recommend we approve the proposal based on staff recommendations that is consistent with the land use and also in compliance with the comprehensive plan.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, so first by Commissioner Burling and the second by Commissioner Ryan. Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgartner,
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham,
Yes.
Commissioner Flem,
Yes.
Commissioner France,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Herman,
Yes.
Commissioner Janes,
Yes.
Commissioner Burling,
Yes.
Is that it? All right. Okay. Got everybody? All right, thank you. So it's approved. Thank you very much for being here. Next item of business is also public facility review. This is file number PC-26-0003-PF, Covington Public Facility Review. The applicant is the North Kentucky Port Authority. The location is 11 East River Center Boulevard in Covington, an area of approximately 1.9 acres located on the south side of East River Center Boulevard. between Madison Avenue to the west and Scott Street to the east. The request is a public facility review per KRS 100.324 and KRS 147.680. The summary is that the applicant is proposing to construct a public university facility to house the Northern Kentucky University Chase Law School and the University of Kentucky Medical School. The facility, to be known as the Commonwealth Center for Biomedical Excellence, CCBE, includes a 7-story building with underground parking and a public plaza. Mr. Dembo.
Okay, thank you very much. And for the record, I am Patrick Dembo with PDS staff. So as was stated, this is a public facility review for the construction of a facility that will house the Northern Kentucky University Chase Law School and the University of Kentucky Medical School, to be known as the Commonwealth Center for Biomedical Excellence. And as a reminder, KRS requires public facilities to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission decision is not binding on the facility, and it is an advisory review on the facility's compliance with the comprehensive plan. The site is located within the urban sub-area of the comprehensive plan. It currently contains a public off-street parking space or lot containing 180 parking spaces. Primary access into the site is from River Center Boulevard, with a secondary access coming off of Scott Street, although the inbound lane for that access point is blocked currently with landscaping. The perimeter adjacent to the surrounding streets contain landscaping, and there are several pedestrian connections into the parking lot from the adjacent sidewalks. This is a Google Earth view looking southeast towards the site, which is outlined there in yellow for you. The surrounding area consists of large-scale downtown-style developments, including hotels, offices, restaurants, a convention center, condominiums, and county institutional uses. Some of the tallest buildings in Covington are located within this vicinity. The site, as well as the surrounding area, is zoned DTR. That stands for Downtown Riverfront. It's the Downtown Riverfront Character District. Existing land use is identified as commercial, which is the same to the north, south, and west. To the east, there is an area of multifamily. The Downtown Riverfront Character District encompasses the area of downtown adjacent to the Ohio River and the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. The tallest buildings in the city are located here, providing for local and regional services, civic, institutional, retail, office, lodging, and some residential uses. Building heights are permitted to be the tallest here to create landmark defining features and to create a sense of presence along the river. Permitted uses include, among others, government, college and university, and office. Uses within this character district are not required to provide a minimum number of parking spaces. Instead, they are limited to parking maximums. This means that uses within the downtown riverfront district do not have to provide any parking spaces, and if they are providing spaces, they cannot install more than the listed maximum. In the case of this use, the parking maximum is to be determined through a special parking study, and I'll highlight that later in the presentation. This is the submitted rendering for the proposed facility. This is a view looking southeast across River Center Boulevard. The facility will be 7 stories and 103 feet tall and will include a 1-level parking garage under the first floor with 170 parking spaces. The building is proposed to be significantly set back from all roads and will be surrounded by a plaza with landscaping. In this image, you can clearly see the large setback and the surrounding plaza. This plaza or an amenity deck will include pedestrian lighting and architectural pavers, landscaping and public art. Site furnishings will include litter receptacles, tables and chairs, benches, and a bike rack. The east side of the plaza is intended to be for more passive uses for compatibility with the adjacent residential building, while the west side of the plaza is intended to be more engaging with the adjacent commercial and event space. The proposed vehicular entrance into the garage will be from Madison Avenue, with pedestrian garage access areas located to the north, as well as the northeast and northwest corners of the lot. There will also be a rear service drive between the rear of this building and the adjacent Kenton County parking garage for loading and service functions. This is a view looking at the north elevation of the main entrance. The building massing is intended to work in conjunction with the functions within the building. It will include glass slots, patterned facades, cantilevered floors, and an articulated roof line. The building materials will include curtain wall glazing, metal panels, and aluminum framed windows. Mechanical equipment will be fully enclosed within a rooftop penthouse. These are views of the east and west elevations. The first floor of the building will include common space as well as the NKU Law School administrative offices and a college courtroom. The second through the fourth floor will all be for the law school. The fifth floor will be future expansion space that is only to be used by both schools. But the fifth floor will also include a pedestrian bridge to the Kenton County parking garage. And the sixth through the seventh floor will be for the medical school. This is the parking garage layout, which again includes 170 parking spaces. 35 of these spaces are going to be reserved for use by the adjacent restaurant uses. The pedestrian access points to the north and northeast will be stairway access. The pedestrian access point to the northwest will be an accessible ramp. Vehicular clearance into and throughout the garage will be 8 feet 2 inches. And as stated earlier, this use is not subject to providing a minimum number of parking spaces, but they cannot exceed an established parking maximum. The maximum number of parking spaces must be determined through a parking study. The applicant has conducted a parking study in compliance with the Covington Neighborhood Development Code. A parking study must be prepared by a qualified transportation planner or a traffic engineer and must include estimates of parking demand based on the Institute of Traffic Engineers and must include estimates of parking demand based on the, Institute of Traffic Engineers and other reliable data from comparable uses, and it must document these sources. The parking study analyzed the available public parking within the vicinity and included 3 area public parking facilities in addition to the existing site. The data was gathered during this past February, and the study shows that there is an average of approximately 300 available spaces within the River Center garage, 0 average available spaces within the Marriott garage, 755 average available spaces within the Kenton County garage, and 0 available spaces within the subject site, because it's their site, meaning that they found an average number of available public parking spaces of approximately 1,045 spaces. For reference, this image is showing the location of these facilities with that average number of available parking spaces to the public. The study establishes that 621 spaces is the projected peak parking demand for this facility. But again, there are no parking minimum spaces required. So with the 170 spaces being provided on site and the average of 1,045 public parking spaces available within the vicinity, the study concludes, quote, given that no minimum parking requirement applies within the DTR character district and in accordance with the NDC special study provisions, it is recommended that a parking maximum of 180 spaces be established for the Commonwealth Center for Biomedical Excellence. With the adequacy of adjacent parking facilities, it is appropriate to align the maximum with the current parking capacity of the site, end quote. As with any public facility review, we have consulted with city staff who have stated that they have no concerns with this study. So to summarize these numbers, the parking study identified the peak parking demand for this use being 621 spaces. The number of parking spaces required to be installed by the Covington Neighborhood Development Code is 0. Even though no spaces are required, the applicant is providing 170 spaces on site. Their parking study identifies that there is an average of 1,045 public parking spaces available within the close vicinity. So the expectation is that at peak demand, the facility will need to utilize approximately 451 of those 1,045 available public parking spaces, leaving during peak demand for this use approximately 594 average available public parking spaces still available within these nearby parking facilities. This is why the parking study concluded that the maximum number of parking spaces that should be permitted within the site be held to the current capacity of 180. And again, they are providing 170. East River Center Boulevard, Madison Pike, and Scott Street are all classified as major collector streets. KY 17, including over the Roebling Suspension Bridge, is classified as a principal arterial. All surrounding streets include sidewalks. Tank operates their Covington Transit Center in the adjacent Kenton County parking garage. The proposed development is consistent with the recommended land use map, which identifies the site for mixed use. Mixed uses can include civic, cultural, and office facilities. The site is also located immediately adjacent to an area that is recommended for community facilities. The site does not contain any areas of DSA or blue line streams. It is identified as an area that is protected by a levee. Staff conducted a review of the Kenton County Comprehensive Plan and does find several areas of consistency. The proposed university facility will help to create a place with diverse character that will draw talent into the region and strengthen the urban core. This project involves collaboration with regional organizations for projects with a regional impact that can increase the economic vitality of Kenton County. The facility will support and encourage programs and opportunities for education to match the needs of potential employers. And this project will place a community facility close to population centers with access to good transit. KRS 100 states that public facilities must be reviewed by the Planning Commission and states that instrumentalities of the state are exempt from zoning requirements. Staff finds that the submitted public facilities request is generally consistent with the goals, objectives, and recommendations of the 2024 Kenton County Comprehensive Plan. The proposed Commonwealth Center for Biomedical Excellence will enhance the urban core and will provide a facility that will have a regional impact on education and the economy. Public universities are instrumentalities of the state government and therefore exempt from local zoning regulations. However, the Port Authority has adopted a policy that will require compliance with the local development requirements, in this case, the Covington Neighborhood Development Code. And in order to ensure the proper integration of the proposed development, staff is recommending the following requirements from the City of Covington, including seeking necessary setback variances from the Board of Architectural Review and Development. This character district requires setbacks at a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 15 feet. The exact setbacks have not been shown, but will be significantly set back to accommodate the plaza area. There's possible variances needed regarding foundation height. The Neighborhood Development Code requires foundations to not exceed 24 inches. Additional information is going to be needed to determine if that variance is needed. Continued coordination with Covington Urban Forestry will be required, as well as compliance with the City of Covington downtown streetscape and public realm design guidelines. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Denbo? Yes. Yeah, Commissioner
So I can
Baumgartner.
understand, I'm trying to go back to the parking
Yes.
question. You say there's over 1,000 available parking spots. What is the definition of available, meaning existing in the world or not utilized
Sure.
yet today in any real fashion?
So for the parking study that was conducted, they actually identified a lot more parking spaces within those facilities. That 1,045 is the average amount of spaces that are available at any given point throughout the day, not being utilized.
Okay,
And that's on average.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes, Commissioner Ryan.
Mr. Denbo, when they mention in the report the projected peak parking demand. When is the peak parking demand? Is that when the conference center is completely filled up and everybody's in school, and what is peak?
That's the peak parking demand for this use, for the university facility.
Okay.
Commissioner Burling.
So Patrick, just to follow up on that, so that does not account for other activities that are happening in adjacent buildings? That's literally the peak use of
Yes.
the proposed facility?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Mr.
Thank you.
Campbell. All right, I have signed up to speak Gretchen Landrum, Nestor Melnick, Christine Russell with the applicant, Craig Horkamp with Kleinger's, Kathy Bryan. I have Gretchen Landrum is signed up as neutral and the other are signed up as for. Is there anyone else that wanted to speak? Okay. If not, we'll start with our applicant.
Good evening. I'm Christine Russell, the Executive Director of the Northern Kentucky Port Authority, and thank you to the Commission for having us this evening, and thank you to Patrick Denbo for a very thorough presentation. We definitely don't want to sit here and repeat all the great information that he has shared, but I do want to share a few additional updates and details. So first I want to introduce our team that is here with me. So first is Nestor Melnick. He is an architect with MSA Design, and he'll be joining me in this presentation. And we also have Craig Honkamp from Kleinger's Group. They are our civil engineers and landscape designers. Both MSA and Kleinger's are part of our design build team that is led by Pepper Construction. So I wanted to start with parking. I know that's a very important topic for this project. So as indicated in our parking study, we have committed to reserve 35 spaces in our garage for customers of the adjacent retail establishments. Think Demetrios across the street, Butler's Pantry, hopefully a restaurant will move into the space at the Embassy Suite. We're also allowing validations for an additional 35 parking spots, but I just want to be clear that those are not going to be reserved. Those are open for the use of, of anybody else coming into the garage. It's just that those will be available for validated parking. To be honest, this is lost revenue for the Port Authority. I want to be clear about that. And our motivation in doing that was several-fold. One is those businesses enjoy that arrangement right now with the current parking lot, and we felt that it was appropriate to continue that type of relationship with them. We want to be good neighbors. We want those businesses to thrive, and so us basically earning no money on those spots is our way of contributing to the local economy and helping those businesses be strong. And then lastly, and not insignificantly, those restaurants are really important amenities for the universities that will move in for the faculty, the students, and the staff. And so again, we want to do what we can to keep them strong. And so by reserving these spots, we feel like that is helpful to them, provides easy in and out parking for their customers, and hopefully will not impact them in a negative way. Staying on parking, I want to give an update on the design. Since this package was submitted a month ago, it's amazing the amount of work that is going on every day on this, and there is one design update that does result in a very small change to the parking. So we are working to include an elevator at the northeast corner of this site, which is at grade. So this site has a lot of grade change, but this was the corner of Scott and River Center. That is at grade. This elevator would go from the garage up to that at grade plaza level. It would serve two purposes. One is provide a very easy and convenient access for the retail customers to get straight up there, go across the street, and visit the establishments that they have come to. And then second of all, it will provide an opportunity for any guests that are coming to the building to come up to the plaza level and then enter via the front door. We don't have all the details worked out yet, but it is very likely that the interior elevator core that starts in the garage and goes up directly into the building, for security reasons, that will likely be limited to fob access for faculty, staff, and students. So we wanted to have a really clear and easy way for any guests to the building to get up and come in via the entrance where there's security and they can check in. The physical space needed for that elevator will remove 1 or 2 spots in that garage, and that's why my major point of telling you is that 170 may be reduced to 169 or 168. Not significant, but wanted to share that. And then also just wanted to share that the study talked about the peak parking, and I have already started discussions with Gretchen Landrum, who's going to be speaking at the convention center, to talk about how the timing of their events coincides or doesn't with the timing of our peak parking. Many of the convention center events that have high parking needs do take place in the evenings or the weekends, so that is not our peak hours. Chase Law does have a night program, but that will not be our peak parking time. We also look forward to, once this facility is open, coordinating not just with the convention center, but with all of the parking in that area to work together to make sure we're sharing schedules. We know when each event is, so that we can help support each other when there is a high parking demand in that area. Before I turn it over to Nestor, I also want to let you know we are working with Duke Energy. Right now there are a lot of above ground utility lines that run along the property boundaries, and we are looking at the cost and feasibility to bury those lines. We're optimistic that we're going to be able to do that, but still looking at that. Obviously, we'll improve the aesthetics in the area and also the reliability of the power supply. It also complements work that the city of Covington is doing in other areas of the city. So we're very hopeful that we'll be able to do that. With that, I will ask Nestor to come and provide some other updates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, my name is Nestor Melnick. I'm principal in charge for the project at MSA Design, along with Pepper Construction Design Builders. I want to thank Patrick and the staff for the review. I think it was very thorough, so there's not a whole lot to add to that, but wanted to highlight a couple things just to reassure everyone that we have already met with PDS. Obviously, we've met with City of Covington staff, Covington Fire. We're working on a meeting with the building official to review some things with them, talk to Urban Forestry and Public Works. So we are doing everything we need to do to make sure this project's successful. A couple of key things I wanted to mention here, also changes from when we submitted a month ago. There is some discussion right now about adding another shelled floor in the building for future expansion, which would take it up to 8 stories and approximately 118 feet from the, so just want to make sure that you're aware of that. If that comes through, we'll certainly submit appropriate documentation for that. The streetscape, we know that this construction is going to take up that entire half block, right, between Scott Madison and River Center. The streetscape, as it's replaced in conjunction with burying the utilities, is all going to conform to the new streetscape standards, the current streetscape standards for City of Covington. So we are fully aware of that. Also wanted to let you know that we are not currently showing signage on the building. There will be signage on the building. That will be developed at a later date, and we'll go through all the proper channels for permits and zoning. We can assure you that the signage will be on the north and or west faces of the building, so there'll be no signage that will be facing the residential area to the east. A couple other things here. I had the variances that were mentioned, so I want to clarify that there is a maximum 24 inches of the first floor from grade. Since we have an entire half a block, our site varies such that our amenity plaza is as much as 7 feet out of grade at one corner to about 4 or 5 feet below grade on the other corner, just because the site is sloped and the site is so long. So we do know we're going to have to apply for a variance for that. I've already been in discussion with the City of Covington on that issue. And then the second variance, which was mentioned earlier, is the setbacks with the amenity deck that's being proposed. That will be a public space, a landscape space. I think that'll be a significant benefit to that whole area, to that neighborhood. So the trade-off of having the public space versus the setbacks, and we also, again, are in communication with the city to ensure we go through the proper channels on that one. And I think that was all I had. Yes, thank you.
All right, any questions for our applicant?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Dickey.
You had mentioned streetscape improvements. Obviously, I would think a development like this with students would create a lot more foot traffic. So will there be enhancements to increase pedestrian safety at the intersections and that cross traffic between this and the River City Center?
Don't know how we want to handle that.
I can't speak in terms of off of our property, but I will say we are looking at widening the sidewalks, especially along River Center, to provide more room for pedestrians to traverse that block and to have a safer and honestly more enjoyable experience walking down there.
Any other questions? Mr. France?
Is the public or the plaza level open to the public?
Yes.
Let's see, Mr. Simpson.
And I want to have a couple questions because parking is going to be kind of tight, and I'm glad that you are already proactively kind of collaborating with our partners down there. And just for information for me, which wasn't presented, the 671 spaces for peak usage, I'm just assuming that that's going to be employees, student, faculty, everyone. It's not just
Correct. It is faculty, staff, and students, and it does take into account growth that the universities are already planning. So that will not be our peak use when we walk in. That is the size that the law school and the medical school are planning to get to over a number of years. So we use that more conservative number as our peak parking.
That's good to know. And also the peak uses, or excuse me, the available usage and other adjacent parking spaces, that's the average usage of 1,045. Did you take in consideration what those peak uses of those other spaces would be when doing this study?
I would have to go back to the study, and I am not a parking or traffic engineer, so I don't know if Patrick, I don't know if you can comment on that. I think it looked at the average, as he said, from February, the average empty spaces. So
it'd be interesting to see what those peak hours would be, because as you go into these conversations with the partnering spaces, you need to know their peak hours, to know their peak available parking, and not compare apples to oranges.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what that would look like.
Thank you for that feedback.
Any other questions? Yeah, Ms. Flynn.
Yeah, just kind of picking up on that line of questioning. This is near and dear to my heart because I did attend an urban law school, not Chase, but I went to University of Cincinnati, and parking was very much a concern. And a couple of things have jumped out at me. Number one is the suggestion that already you may be contemplating an expansion of this building. And so I think it is worth mentioning that this parking study certainly has not taken any potential future expansion into account. It also jumps out to me that the utilization study was done in February. February, to my knowledge, is not a peak time for the convention center. I think that a 1-month utilization review is probably not enough in order to fully understand the true parking needs of the community, not just for the prospective building, but for all of the other, within a 3-block area. That's kind of what I would have expected from this parking study, is a more holistic view, not just of utilization of this structure, but utilization of the convention center in particular. The other thing that really jumped out at me is that I believe from public information that the convention center is hoping to do an expansion of their own. And my question very specifically is, did Compass, who did this particular parking study, reach out to the convention center as part of its preparation of this study to find out what sort of impact that expansion, that proposed expansion might have in terms of the overall utilization of parking in the area?
And I don't know the answer to that. Gretchen will be speaking, though, and maybe she can talk to whether their renovations envision, more parking needs.
Any other questions? Yeah, Mr. Wickman.
Just curious if these elevations, do they reflect the mechanical penthouse that was mentioned?
Yes, the elevations do reflect those, and we are doing site studies to ensure that, anything that is not screened, because we will have some chillers up there that have to be open air, that they will be screened from view, even though they may not be screened from above, right, because they need to have open air. So we are doing site studies to ensure that everything is back from the building edges so that they're not visible from the ground.
So that slight raised 2/3 of the elevation is the penthouse?
That's correct, yes.
Mr. Berlin.
Just real quickly, Nestor, I'm not sure if, and maybe this is a question for Craig as well, have you guys looked at the impact of site lighting on the adjacent residential building at the Ascent? And maybe you haven't gotten that far with design at this point for the plaza areas?
Yeah, we have not gotten that far. I think, Craig, if you want to chime in, you're more than welcome to, but realizing that the Ascent is a high-rise building, and this site so at the southeast corner, the plaza is below grade. At the northeast corner, it's at grade.
Okay.
And we know that the lighting that we're looking at doing there is going to be a pedestrian scale and down lighting. So it should not be affecting in terms of any direct light or glare to any of the residential. We also are planning, as was mentioned in the staff report, that east side of the plaza is intended to be a little bit calmer and quieter, with quiet seating and trees and planters to keep the activity and the commotion away from that side and towards the west and the north.
Any other questions? Would you
Yes,
state
Craig.
your name for the record, please?
Craig Honkamp with the Clienters Group, the civil engineers for the project. So just to add on to what Nestor said as he spoke about the building and the building lighting and stuff, there was talk earlier about the streetscape, and there is city lighting standards for along the roadway and the pedestrian way. And so those will all follow the city standard then for lighting then also. And so there would be nothing that would exceed what would be approvable by the city in that sense.
That's great. Thank you, Craig.
I just have one quick follow-up.
Yeah.
So Mr. Dimbo mentioned that the 180 parking spaces maximum is required was determined by this particular parking study. Was there any other parking study done, or was this the only parking study?
This was the only parking study done.
But theoretically, there could be a different parking study that potentially could come to a different conclusion by looking at the broader impact?
Yes, I would assume so. Again, not my area of expertise, so we made sure we complied with the requirements, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. France.
I'm wondering if since this is primarily a curtain wall exterior, is the glass all reflective that we're gonna see the surrounding buildings in the glass of the facade? Not that that's good or bad, I'm just curious.
Yes. I mean, it'll be reflective to the extent that glass is reflective, but we're not looking at mirrored glass.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I could just make one quick
Sure.
closing statement. I know the universities are very excited to become part of the urban core and not only benefit from, but really contribute to the vibrancy. I also want to say that we understand that a construction project of this scope and scale, it can't help but be impactful to that region, and we have a design build team that is very accustomed to and has a lot of experience on doing urban construction projects, and we commit to be as good a neighbors as we can during the construction. So.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Honkamp, do you have anything else to add? No. Kathy Bryan?
Hi there, I'm Caitlin Bryan with the City of Covington. I'm the regulatory manager. I just wanted to say that even though we've identified several variances with the site, we don't foresee any issues with getting those approved. Obviously, that'll be subject to a public hearing, so we'll hear from the neighbors on what they think the impact of those variances will be. But I just wanted to thank the port for their continued compliance and collaboration.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. Any questions for Ms. Bryan? Thank you. All right, and then, let's see, signed up against, I do not have anyone signed up against, but I do have two letters, or a letter and an email that were submitted that, to enter into the record. There's a letter from Joseph U. Meyer, dated May 6, 2026. I'm not going to read every word, but I'll summarize. This is noting that he believes that the parking study is inadequate, and it must be predicated on peak usage. Let's see, when it's under maximum stress, and that it was based on counts taken in February, a rather slow time of the year. Let's see, it must consider land use and development contexts, including planned development scenarios and future parking demand forecasting. It mentions the convention center, potential expansion there. Let's see. Let's see. Saying that the parking studies are especially and the companies with extensive experience in a full range of parking studies are qualified. The City of Covington has used Walker Consultants, a national firm. And whatever consultant is chosen, they need to do a proper future parking demand forecasting for the entire DTR zone. He's encouraging our planning commission to withhold any final decision on this application until after the Northern Kentucky Riverport Authority has conducted a proper parking study and collaborated with Covington and the Convention Center. So we will enter that as Exhibit 1 to the record. The other is an email from Judy Claves. Let's see. It's stating that as part of the purchase of the lot, there's the lease back of the 70 spaces that were referenced. The email includes a copy of the agreement related to the use of those 70 spaces, and we're talking about the pricing with no inflationary adjustments. Let's see, saying that the market rate value of the spaces of the term raises the cost, imposes management and maintenance standards on the port and at the port's cost. I think that is it. There is also a letter attached to this email, a letter to Representative Lehman by Jennifer Kitchener. It's talking about Riverports, and then the parking license agreement itself. So we'll enter that as Exhibit 2 into the record. All right, and now with that, we go to neutral, which would be Ms. Landrum.
Thank you. I'm Gretchen Landrum. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. I really just want to make a point so that it is on the record for additional data that I think would be beneficial when reviewing this document as a whole for this specific plan, but also in consideration with some others. There is not a traffic impact study that has been done with the addition of this building coming in online. Currently, the parking lot entrance is on River Center Boulevard and has been for 28 years. The proposed move is to move it to Madison. The tank station, the Kenton County parking garage, the service alley, and now the only entrance and exit for this garage, which is also located directly across from the main entrance to the convention center, which happens to be a designated loading zone. Before we run into an issue, while we're in the planning stages, let's just mark these boxes off. If the answer is yes, that's the best spot for it, then we know that, we can share that down the road. But if it isn't, now is the time to make those adjustments, and we just want to make sure that's taken into consideration. Parking has already been discussed on a full level, and we'll be happy to continue to collaborate with anyone who needs additional information for the center and our future plans so that we are all working with the same data as we move forward making decisions. We are expanding this facility. It is not a brick and mortar expansion as you would see in a typical standpoint. We are currently going to be in the process of working with the City of Covington on acquiring 1.7 acres to the south of our facility, known as Block P of the CCR development. That will be designated as outdoor event space. We did a study twice, once in 2019 and again post-COVID in 2023, to make sure that the data did not change in our study. The information that came back said you don't need brick and mortar, you do need outdoor event space. The reason you don't need brick and mortar is unless you had a 600-room hotel, you do not have the hotel capacity to handle that. We are not the market for that. So obviously bringing in additional hotel rooms is imperative to maintaining the market share that we have and continuing to grow that. The study currently estimates that we book about 35,000 hotel room nights per year based on the convention center. That number is projected to go to 60,000 when the convention center modernization is completed. We're going to modernize all of our equipment and add additional amenities to work in conjunction with the schools so that we're creating a better community. We just want to make sure there's a lot of opportunity in this area right now and that people aren't working off their own individual data that pertains to just their portion, that data is a collective group of data that we can all share to make sure that we're doing what's best for this community so that we can lift it and everyone can be as successful as possible. This is Kevin Murphy. He is our board chairman, who I neglected to introduce. So Kevin is here with me as well. Are there any questions that I could answer for you?
Any questions for Ms. Landry? Ms. Flynn?
Yeah, so my speculation was that February probably isn't your peak time.
No, it is not.
Do you have an opinion as to what time of year might be a better time to make this sort of assessment?
I would prefer to see an average throughout the entire year. So just as a general knowledge, first quarter we do mostly weekend events.
Right.
So that is very geared. It's sports. We do cheerleading events, dance competitions, gymnastics competitions. We run into second quarter is mostly state association, some other types of association business. Summer is our slowest time frame because the hotels are already full. Mm-hmm. So that needs to be taken into consideration, the Reds traffic falling into fall with the Bengals traffic, how that all works within the areas that are available within the community. Fall is an extremely busy time for us. We slowed down the second week in December and pick back up again the first weekend in January. So those are the pockets. To take 1 month at any given time, our business isn't consistent enough, and Christine and I have talked about this. I would love to tell you, here's the exact average, every single time this is how it's gonna work, but it's just not how our business operates. Throw in the Justice Center and court appearances and things along those lines, bus pickup if there's not enough transportation, creating transportation to get to the hotels to reach the numbers that we need to reach. It can vary in the time of day. All you have to do is stand on Madison at 4:45 and try to move anywhere. It's incredibly difficult.
I'm thinking about people coming into the Justice Center, right, for their 8 a.m. court appointments.
Yes.
And also people coming to 8 a.m. class, right? Do you typically, for your conventions, are you typically looking at a start time around 8 a.m.? What is common?
We do. I would say traditionally, our clients are on site by 7:30 to open registration. Events tend to start around 8 and 9 o'clock. They're there until about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they leave. There are occasions, and Christine and I have had this conversation, that when we have large events, we work with ABM, who runs the Kenton County Parking Garage, to purchase available spots within the garage so we can put the gates up, and then we hire Covington Police to monitor traffic. Because the street grade in Covington is a little narrow to begin with, we already create issues with that, and so we try to remedy that to the best of our ability by moving those things. We also, as Christine had mentioned, the collaboration and the communication is absolutely imperative, and we do that currently. And I told her, you know, they'll be brought into that process as well, of letting people know how many people are on their own for lunch, how many people are driving in, is it a hotel piece of business, is it an all drive-in piece of business. We've already lost a handful of events because of parking, and we're only just getting started on adding more into that collective area. So these are conversations I'm having with the city of Covington as well. This is not just a, you know, biomedical center situation, right? This is an opportunity for the area as a whole, but it needs to be looked at as a whole and not in individual slices.
Are you aware if there are any changes that are being looked at as to how to get in and out of the parking garage? I may have worked in the Kenton County Justice Center and near there for 18 years. So I'm familiar with the conventions and trying to get out before your convention.
Before the conventions leave, you know it. Well, you know, when Tri-Health was here, we all used to try to bolt out the door before we knew they were leaving. It's 800 cars trying to get out at the same time. I am not aware of any significant changes other than they changed the pass on the Scott Street side to where it is, it can go both ways as public.
Okay.
So that public can access, because it was, and for the longest time, it was parking pass only. You couldn't get out if you had a ticket. They have changed that. They purchased new equipment and have updated that so that you can do egress on both sides.
I know a lot of garages, particularly in downtown Cincinnati, now have where it just senses you come in and out, you pre-register, so the smoothness.
I do not know the status of that technology for them.
I thought you might.
They haven't shared that.
I had a question. So what is the timing on your expansion?
Sure. We are scheduled to close July 1 of 2027, so a little over a year from now. Currently, we anticipate opening January 29. I say currently because we are in the design phase right now, and in late June, early July, we will be sending an RFP out for construction managers at risk to partner with our design team to make sure we're covering everything up front. And at that point in time, I'll be able to solidify a time frame on how long it's going to take. Our goal is to get the brick and mortar portion of the building modernized and reopened as quickly as possible, even if the land on the outside for outdoor space is still under construction.
And I'm not trying to be flippant, but as part of that expansion, you know, so it's public parking, right? It's the county garage?
Correct.
It's not. So
It's
I mean,
not.
as part of your all's expansion, you could acquire land to do parking as well.
We actually looked into that. When the parking conversation started taking place, the way the land is, we can't go down. So to build a podium and then build on top of it defeats the purpose of what Covington was looking for and what the study said the amenity needed to be. If you have a concrete parking structure, that's what you're looking into, even if we did the deck as a plaza level, as they're going to be able to do with that, you know, on that plaza level. You're walking down 3rd Street, you're walking down Madison, and you're looking in a parking garage. You're not looking at an amenity that can be opened up for the community.
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily on your exact site that you have planned.
The other challenge for that is money. You know, if we had the funding, then, you know, we could partner with the city and see if it's a possibility to expand, you know, their planned parking podium. But unfortunately, the dollars don't exist.
Yeah, Mr. Dickey.
Is there a parking podium going into the new IRS site?
So there's a parking podium for the city of Covington. Where's my city of Covington person? Yeah, you can speak to this better than I can. It's 663, I believe, parking spaces that you will access off of River Center. It's under a land bridge that's going to be created there. And it will go under, and I don't know which spots it is, but it's adjacent to K and goes down to whatever that last number is. But there are 663 spots in that location. Some of those, if they are able to finalize a plan with a hotel. A hotel would need to utilize that in addition to the 7 or 8 other land plots that are still available for sale. Those will need parking as well. So yes, it's available, and it's going to help. I don't know that it's the total answer, but I just think everyone needs to be having the conversation so we all know where we stand. And if we do that, then we can come up with a game plan that's going to work.
Any other questions?
So maybe the applicant could address, but it sounds like the parking study done by Compass is, in their mind, is done. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, that they've got a completed traffic study, but it sounds like from tonight it needs revisited. And so just curious, when we come back, could address whether it is done or not, and you can address all these concerns with that are being brought up.
Our understanding is that this traffic study meets the requirements of the code. If that is not the case, we would welcome that feedback from PDS and we will look at modifying it. But we understand that it meets the codes.
You said traffic study.
Did I say traffic? Parking. I'm sorry. And as far as I know, there is no requirement that this project do a traffic study.
Any other questions?
So the current code has a 0 minimum. So basically that's telling me that they are not encouraging additional parking through this code.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes. And we can talk about that amongst ourselves. But yeah, that's right. Any other questions? All right, that's all I have signed up to speak. Thank you all. Let's see. We'll recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners. Just as a reminder, I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about parking. First off, it's a public agency. That's the general term. They're not subject to the zoning. They're simply here before us because they have to present it, and we have to determine if it's consistent with our comprehensive plan. Our comprehensive plan does not say that it requires any level of parking. In fact, the zoning for this area says it doesn't require any parking. So I think the port has heard the comments tonight, and I'm sure they've heard it before. It seemed like everyone was pretty prepared to discuss it, but I'm sure they'll try and address it the best they can and work with the city. But from our perspective, we have a pretty narrow role here. It's simply, is it consistent with the comprehensive plan or not? And I haven't heard anything that suggests that it's inconsistent with that. Yeah, Commissioner Simpson.
But are we able to maybe give caveats or maybe give additional information as done by PDS by saying that, like the last slide said, in order to ensure proper integration of this proposed development, there were X, Y, and Z. Would we be able to maybe suggest some things that might be coming from the dialogue that we've had so far that would maybe help?
Well, I mean, I'm sure the port is here and has heard it. This is broadcast or minutes. I mean, I think it's Caitlin is here, so I think they're aware of it. What we're supposed to do is yes or no. Is it consistent with the comprehensive plan or not?
I think to Commissioner Simpson's point, though, I think in the past on public facilities, we've given recommendations and suggestions, and I think, in my opinion, this warrants a suggestion that we've already stated, but to put it on the record that, to pass it on, that we have these recommendations of further study, evaluation of the complete project as a whole in relationship to the whole district. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, I just don't know how we do that. I mean, other than having said it here, right? I mean, we're making a motion of whether or not it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. So if as part of your motion you want to provide that sort of feedback leading into it, that's certainly fine.
So Chairman, just a quick, help me out here.
Yeah.
Because inconsistent with the plan, does that not have to take into account the overall, it sounds to me like we have some very obvious problems here, and so I'm just trying to understand.
I don't know, there's a parking issue
Yeah.
that's been raised,
Yeah.
but that's it, okay? It's a pretty straightforward issue. And the comprehensive plan does not say you have to have enough parking to accommodate the maximum usage of parking for everybody in the area, including their future expansion plans. I mean, that's just not, that's never how we've done things. And if anything, Covington, I mean, literally, they've consistently, they want, and I don't want to speak for Covington, but I mean, with their zoning and going to like these zero parking spaces, we've actually had matters here. I remember a drive-through that was proposed, like a Dunkin' or a coffee kind of thing, and we heard an issue from the city, like they didn't want to have any parking on the spot at all. And so, I mean, I guess they're wanting people to live in the area and take public transportation and what have you. But once again, the comprehensive plan, it doesn't require the sorts of stuff that we're talking about here. If anything, the trend has been to tighten that up. So
I think the issue here is that the study, and I don't think any of us is recommending that, like parking for everyone, but the information that's presented, I don't think is a complete picture of what it is. I think that's my issue is, and once you see what that complete picture is, then you can make a better judgment how to move forward. And that's the only thing that I'm asking that be considered. And it sounds like it is, but I feel like, to Commissioner Ryan's point, that I feel that there needs to be institutionalized into the document by formalizing it by saying that I think it would be good to have an additional, more robust study done, just so that we have all of the information to move forward.
Leading into it, you can say what you want, but like I said, ultimately the motion, is going to be whether or not it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. So, was there anything? Did we hear anything specific to that was contrary to the plan?
I'm not answering that question. I was just going to comment. Sorry.
Okay, we'll move on to that.
Maybe with staff, I just wanted to. Is it my understanding that they're building a sky bridge to the current Kenton County parking facility?
That's what they said.
And they're utilizing 407 parking spaces in there as well.
Yes.
So it's not a self-contained unit. They're also utilizing public parking.
Correct.
Okay.
I think.
So they're bringing into question. I'm sorry. They're bringing into question the totality of the area by utilizing some of the public parking.
Yep.
So I think Mr. Simpson is correct.
My perspective is it is compliant with the comprehensive plan. There are certainly some areas of concern for parking. There is fluidity. I went to an urban law school also. I hiked the half mile in the rain and that. I'd love to see law students not have to do that, or med students. I'm not just partial to law students. But I do think there is potentially parking within the area that would accommodate this. Just because it may not be immediately convenient, I don't think makes it non-compliant with the comprehensive plan. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for Kenton County to get this there, and I'm excited for Northern to have that opportunity. That's my thoughts.
Any other comments?
I think just one, Ms. Landrup's concern was really the traffic study, a traffic study, which we're obviously not obligating them to do, nor does the code require them to do it. But this body runs across this all the time. We end up having to approve things and look at things that we end up saying we need a traffic study because we don't understand the impact it has on the community. And obviously we're not dealing with that today, but it's something that we run into all the time. And I think something we should figure out a way to be a little more proactive about as we move forward, because it always seems to come up at the time when we're having to make a vote on something that without all the information.
So Commissioner Darple, who had an out-of-town wedding, so he couldn't be here this evening, who chairs the subregs committee. I know that he mentioned that that is one of the 2 goals over the next year, is to look at, historically, the Planning Commission has not, required that of applicants, and it is a burden on them, and trying to strike that balance of, when to require it, how to require it, so that is on the radar. And I think are you on that committee?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, so we'll be working on it next year. So, anyone else? Thoughts? Share. All right. If not, we will return to public hearing. Any clarifications needed of staff or anyone else who testified this evening? All right. We will recess and close the public hearing. We will entertain a motion. Would one of our Covington reps like to make the
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
In reference to PC 260003-PF, I'd like to move to approve the public facilities review based on public input and staff's recommendation, with the additional recommendation that a more robust parking study be conducted in continued collaboration with partnering entities in the space.
Yeah, I mean, is it compliant with the comprehensive plan? I mean, that's...
Yeah, so I said based on PDS's recommendation and also public comment. So because it's also compliant with the comprehensive plan.
Okay. All right, does anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, second by Commissioner Ryan. Any further discussion? Okay.
I don't feel the additional recommendation is appropriate. The city of Covington, in fact, is discouraging more parking, and yet we're making through that zoning district, and yet we're discussing and recommending that additional study be done with the concern that making sure there's enough parking.
I don't think I mentioned that there was a concern for additional parking. As I mentioned before, that the concern was that we didn't have enough information to go forward, because what could come out is that we don't need as much parking as what's being said. So just to be clear, it's not, I think there was an assumption that additional parking is needed, which was never said.
Well, as I understood what you're suggesting, based on what we've heard, there is inadequate data to provide a complete, accurate count.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
But help me, I understand that. Going back to the original point of, is it consistent with the comprehensive plan, is the parking element of that, since there was no spaces required, even a point of contention towards that. I'm kind of following in line, I think, with Commissioner Quinn, I'm wondering why we need the recommendation versus recognizing that there's a lot of conversation about it and uncoupling that from the recommendation.
I think it's just an added note of potential concern, and they're going to do what they're going to do. We can sit there and put a concern of ours on that. We've done it in the past with public facilities. So I don't think it's anything, we're not holding anybody to the specificity of any accountability. We're just making a recommendation that, as the motion's on the floor and it's been seconded, that some of us think that, an additional information note is warranted. And if the parties to be can facilitate that and have a review of it in its total completeness, great. If they don't, they don't. But it's our thoughts that maybe it'd be warranted to state that.
Okay.
I've got a question. If it's consistent with a comprehensive plan, then we shouldn't do a study, because we're saying what they're presenting is consistent with the comprehensive plan. We're not saying it's consistent with the comprehensive plan on one thing, but then we need to go dig gotta be,
I
it can't
agree.
be.
I feel like it's gotten, it's going
not a-
outside of what we're
Right,
supposed to be
okay, that's what
doing.
I wanna make sure I understand. Comprehensive plan's comprehensive plan.
And
not-
Said that better than I did.
Well, the thing is, if it, so I get that, and I understand that, but if it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, then why does it come in front of this board for us to vote on it, right?
It's
So-
because we are determining if it is or is not.
Correct.
And
correct,
based on
we
the
are.
testimony.
And
what
we
was given.
are, I am saying that it is consistent with the comprehensive plan, but there's also additional information proposed by PDS saying that in order to ensure this proper integration of a proposed development, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So if the argument that you're making is valid, which I'm not saying it is or it isn't, do we need the additional information from PDS as well?
What my thought is, if we don't have the information from PDS, or from the applicant, then it's not consistent with the comprehensive plan. So we can't make a motion and say, yes, we're approving it because it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, but then we don't have all the information, then it's
So
not.
before we address that, and I get that,
Yeah.
let's answer the question that I asked. So is that your answer to the question, do we need this additional information given to us by PDS? And since they already said that it was consistent with the comprehensive plan.
They put it on the record. It doesn't need to be in our motion.
Do we need to ask that question of PDS as to whether they believe for us to make that decision? Would that be helpful? I think the report.
It's a straightforward issue.
Yeah.
We have spent so much time talking about this. Clearly, everyone knows the thoughts of some of the members on the planning commission about the issue.
But I think we all
And other
listen.
people who testified
Yeah,
here
but
today.
I think we need to make it clear to everybody here, so that we're all asking questions. I don't want to just say it's straightforward, it's this. If everybody's got questions, we need to make sure we're clearing up people with the planning commission too, and.
Just if I recall properly, we did a public facility for a Kent County Library or something, and we added a little comment about the ingress egress. If it's in compliance with the comprehensive plan, why do we add a little comment about ingress and egress? I may be wrong on that, but I believe I'm correct. So this is just an added comment of potential thought process. It's not anything binding. It's just an added comment. I don't see reason.
All right, well,
So-
I mean, we've got
You have his motion in a second.
Right, do we want to just go ahead and vote on the motion that's in front of us? So,
And I don't have any skin in the game. I've not been to Chase Law School. I don't have anything against Chase Law School.
Ms. Langfelds, would you call the roll, please? It's first by Commissioner Simpson, it was second by Commissioner Flynn? Ryan, sorry.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
No.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes?
Commissioner Wickman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
No.
Commissioner Burling?
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgartner?
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham?
Yes.
Commissioner Flem?
Yes.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich?
Yes.
Commissioner Herman?
Yes.
Commissioner Janes?
Yes.
All right. So, the long and short of it is, the planning commission found that it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, but there are mentions of wanting to encourage a more exhaustive look at the parking issue. So, heard that loud and clear tonight, and wish you well. Thank you. All right, next item of business is, didn't think I was gonna ever have to think about Robert's Rule of Order here. Public hearing, it's file number PC-26-0004-MA, Covington Map Amendment. The applicant is Peak One Holdings LLC. The location is 2325 Madison Avenue, an area of approximately 0.29 acres located on the northwest corner of the intersection of Madison Avenue and West 24th Street in Covington. The request is a proposed map amendment to the Covington Neighborhood Development Code, changing the described area from semi-urban residential SU to auto-urban commercial AUC. Summary is that the property currently contains a legal non-conforming use, vehicle sales, and a legal minor vehicle service business. The applicant is wishing to bring the property into compliance. Mr. Videkovich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good evening. For the record, my name is Andy Videkovich with staff. As the chair stated, this is a map amendment in the city of Covington to change a property from a semi-urban residential zone to an auto-urban commercial zone. The site is within the urban sub-area. It is located along Madison Pike, north of I-275. The site is, as the chair stated, approximately 0.3 acres. It's located on the east side of Donaldson Avenue. So it's basically located at the intersection of 3 streets. Madison Pike is going north-south on the east side of the site. Donaldson Avenue is on the west side. And then on the south is, what road is that? Why am I not seeing it? 24th. It's like West 21st, I think. 24th, thank you. I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't see that. The surrounding area includes single-family residential, commercial uses, as well as some light industrial uses. So I do want to spend some time on the history of the site because I think it kind of plays into like where this request is coming from. So the site has historically been zoned residential, but has also historically been used for auto sales, which of course is non-conforming within a residential zone. And when I say for a while, this goes back several decades. In 2020, the city of Covington, they approved a new zoning ordinance, and as part of that zoning ordinance, it allowed for minor vehicle repair as a conditional use. So in 2025, the applicant went to the Covington board for a conditional use to allow for minor vehicle service within the zone. However, they were still doing the auto sales. So as the chair stated at the beginning, the minor vehicle sales, or excuse me, the minor vehicle repair is actually a legal use on the site because it received that conditional use. The current other use of the site as auto sales, that is still considered a non-conforming use. So, as stated, the property is currently zoned semi-urban residential. The area to the north along Madison Pike is also zoned semi-urban residential. Directly across the street, across West 24th Street, is zoned AUC, which is what the applicant is also requesting. And then directly to the west of the site, it is zoned light industrial. The land uses in the area are reflective of the zoning and show kind of the mixed-use urban nature of the area. So just a couple of photos of the site. This is taken from, it's taken from the corner of Madison Avenue with West 24th Street. This is looking at the site in question. So the site itself currently contains, it's basically like 99% impervious surface. It's either off-street parking and then the existing structure on the site located towards the rear. So this is moving down Madison Avenue, looking more directly into the site. So this is the existing structure on the site. Obviously, you see the surrounding parking area and then the adjacent residence on Madison Avenue. Now this is moving down West 24th Street. Again, just showing the relationship of the site to the adjacent uses. This is an adjacent residential building across the street, across Donaldson Avenue. This is another auto repair business across the street, and that is zoned light industrial as well. Finally, looking at the site from the intersection of West 24th and Donaldson. And finally, just showing the site as it relates to Madison Avenue. So this is Madison Avenue on the left-hand side, and this is the site in question on the right-hand side, and the adjacent commercial uses going down Madison Avenue. So the semi-urban zone is a single-family residential zone. It does allow for small-scale neighborhood commercial uses, as well as some other more commercial uses as conditional uses, which includes the minor vehicle service as a conditional use. The auto urban commercial is basically what the name sounds like. It provides for a broad range of single and multi-tenant commercial centers that predominantly rely on auto-oriented access. Some of the other uses that are allowed in the auto urban commercial are listed. These are the other more vehicle-related uses, but as a commercial zone, it allows for a wide variety of other commercial and office uses as well. This is the submitted development plan. The submitted development plan basically indicates everything that's existing on the site. There is a 2,200 square foot principal structure on the site. The remaining 10,400 square feet is off-street parking. And there is an existing access point onto Donaldson Avenue. There is no proposal to change access to the site. There are light pole structures currently located around the site. You can see those in the yellow dots that just showed up. The applicant is proposing to restripe some of the off-street parking area for 11 off-street parking spaces. So staff conducted a full review of the comprehensive plan. Staff did find some areas of consistency, specifically within the goals and objective and suburban sub-area elements. Both of those actually contain language about strengthening and vitalizing the urban core through utilizing underutilized properties, recommend redevelopment of underutilized properties. Both of those elements talk about that. The economy element talks about supporting existing businesses. So staff notes that the proposed map amendment helps to bring a longstanding commercial property into compliance with the Covington Neighborhood Development Code. This will also allow the site to be developed in a manner consistent with its commercial history and with the adjacent commercial properties in the vicinity. The proposed map amendment is not consistent with the recommended land use. The recommended land use identifies the site for 7.1 to 14, which is the same recommended land use for the entire block to the north along Madison Avenue, as well as the residential areas across Madison Avenue. The area to the south of the site is identified for commercial uses. The area to the west of the site is identified for in compliance with or in agreement with the comprehensive plan, or if it's not in agreement with the comprehensive plan, that the existing zoning classification is inappropriate and the proposed classification is appropriate, or that there have been major changes of an economic, physical, or social nature which were not anticipated. So based on that review, staff is giving this a favorable recommendation. Staff finds that the proposed map amendment is generally consistent with the comprehensive plan. Although the request is not consistent with the recommended land use map, there are other elements of the comprehensive plan, specifically the goals and objectives, the urban sub-area, and the economy element that this request is consistent with. It will bring an existing business into compliance, as well as providing some additional flexibility for that property owner in regard to other aspects of running a commercial business, such as signage and things of that nature. The proposed map amendment is also consistent with the Covington Neighborhood Development Code. Just as a reminder, so Covington has adopted that 21-day rule where if no one appeals the decision and requests that the city commission make the final decision, after 21 days, your recommendation will become final. So if anyone disagrees or would like the city commission to make the final recommendation, we've got that paperwork on the back table there if they wish to sign it as they leave. The submitted development plan does meet the requirements of the Neighborhood Development Code, but just as an additional information comment, the proposed parking spaces that you saw, there were no dimensions shown on those, so they'll just need to make sure that they're meeting all of those dimensional requirements. And also any future expansions that might be proposed or any accessory structures that are proposed in the future, those might then require Obviously, those additions will need to meet the requirements of the code, but then other aspects of the site might also need to be brought into conformance, such as lighting or landscaping. It just kind of depends on the details of what's being proposed. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Questions from Mr. Vidakovich? Is, I guess, outside storage, I just worry, like tire storage.
Mhm.
What's the, do you happen to know what's required there? I mean, they can't keep tires just sitting out, do they?
You are correct. All storage must be within an enclosed building.
And then, in the auto urban commercial, I know we saw uses related to vehicle sales, repairs, it expands that, but, I mean, by approving this, are we opening it up to any other use within the AUC? My concern is you've got residences all in that part of that block. Now, granted, you've had that auto sale place there for quite some time, and then you've got industrial right behind, and you've got I think the AUC across the street, and you've got the liquor store on the other side. So, but we're expanding that what can go on there, and I just worry, you know, by just trying to help these guys out, right?
Mm-hmm.
To permit their use, are we opening up something where now we've got, you know, vape shop going in there?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that is a potential for rezoning this. You know, the Covington zoning ordinance or neighborhood development code does state that the development plan is binding. However, there can be like minor adjustments to that. And but once you change the zone, I think the argument is hard to say no to another use within the same zone, because the idea of zoning, of course, is that all of those uses are relatively similar in terms of land use impact. So, you know, that's not a crystal ball, but I agree with that statement.
And then, I'm sure we put, is this the type of thing, we would have put like notices up for the neighbors, the house next door, for example, about the rezoning?
Yeah, so we notified it per KRS 100, which involved notifying all the adjacent property owners and posting signs on the property.
You didn't get any feedback?
No.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions for Mr. Vidakovich?
What are the consequences of it not being rezoned?
It just is, well, the existing business continues to be non-conforming. So anytime that they would like to do something, whether, even simple things like putting up additional signs or something like that, they're held to the standards of a residential zone as opposed to a commercial zone. So, you know, they do have the ability to go to the board and seek approval for things that they want to do in that particular case, but it just is it's just an extra step that they have to go through.
Good question. Yeah, Mr. Berlin.
Andy, does it require, if they do any sort of modifications to the site, that they would then have to bring in compliance to the neighborhood development code? Is that a trigger then for them once they start making modifications?
Yeah, I think it depends on the scope and the details of what they're proposing, but our comments simply is that, yes, that is potential in the future. Like if they decide to add a storage building or something, they may be required to provide then additional landscaping, for instance. So, but obviously the devil's in the details, and it depends on what the scope of what their project is.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
What is the property that is to the northeast? It's gray, surrounded by, and that one is surrounded by tan, and it's gray.
Let's see if I can.
So that's a housing structure.
Housing, this structure, yeah, that's off-street parking.
Oh, okay. It's here. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Vidakovich. I have signed up to speak. I have Mohammed, who is, I believe, with the applicant, Pequin Holdings, And then Caitlin Bryan with the City of Covington signed up. Anyone else here want to speak on this matter? All right, if not, we'll start with our applicant.
Hi, my name is Mohammed. I'm representing Peak One Holdings for the property 2325 Madison Avenue. And I think Andy covered everything, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
So the plan is just simply to start selling tires? What is the plan with the site?
And so we currently have a new tenant that came in there and he wants to do auto service, but it's really just the plan is, it's a commercial property. It was a dealer for older than I was, my understanding, and just to bring it to conformity and just to ease, for our tenants and anyone that wants to come in there.
So the tenant's an auto repair place?
Yeah, it'd be a light mechanic work. So.
Are they going to sell tires? I thought I heard.
I believe so. Yeah, they will do used tires. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
new used. I'm not sure exactly.
And they're not making any improvements to the exterior of the building or expansions of the building as part of this?
Not that we know of. No.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Muhammad? Thanks.
I'm sorry, will they also be selling cars? I didn't catch that.
They need to acquire their dealer license, and they are in the process of that. So
their use will be covered by the conditional use permit that has already been obtained.
correct.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bryan.
Good evening, Caitlin Bryan with the City of Covington, Regulatory Services Manager. I just wanted to add that this property has been to the Board of Adjustments twice in the last 3 years. So it's every time they need a new sign, every time they get a new tenant, they're having to come pay $500 and something just to be allowed to do something that they've already been doing for 40 years. So I think that what happened was whenever the maps and the NDC were redone in 2021, that they were looking at this, this would be the highest and best use of the land, but that's not necessarily fair to try to push out someone or a property that's been like that for several years. So the change in zone has created a hardship for the user, and I think that having the map amendment, it'll just make operating much easier for them.
Do you know the other types of uses for in an AUC that would be permitted there?
Like fast food, retail, office, hardly any residential.
Yeah. Okay.
But from what you first said, they're not currently facing any difficulties because they have a conditional use for this new tenant.
That was for the last tenant.
Well, he said the new tenant was going to sell cars and do light service, which is what I'm reading is what they obtained a conditional use for in April of 2025.
Is that the same tenant that applied last year? Okay, new tenant, same use.
But it's the property that obtained the conditional use permit, right?
The owner obtained the conditional use.
So it's the same owner.
Yes.
So the conditional use permit covers this new tenant.
Yes.
Okay. And you're not, I gave the example of the vape shop, or you mentioned, like a fast food drive-through restaurant that's.
So the example of the vape shop that's just categorized as retail, and that is allowed in the SU zone, so a vape shop could move in there tomorrow if they wanted to. We don't regulate what types of retail go into those commercial spaces. Fast food, I don't know that it would work in the existing building since it is a auto sort of designed building, has bays and stuff in there, they'd have to completely demolish and rebuild.
But if they did that, that's what I just want to make sure I understand. So if they did that, so it gets rezoned to AUC.
Yeah.
And they wanted to change their plan and came back, would you have the ability to really say no to something there that's permitted in the zone? It otherwise complies, it's got setbacks, it's got, all that stuff. How when they come to you and to demolish it and do that different change, how do you say no to that? And I just, that block, the block is and I know it's at the end of it, but the other side of that is all residential, and the future land use map was envisioning that continuing on to this site. So I want to help them out, and I see the predicament, and I appreciate the approach. I just worry, like, what's the protection to keep this from becoming a rougher use, that's on the neighbors there. But.
Well, I don't know if this makes you feel any better, but if they were to just completely level the site and start from scratch, they'd be subject to adding those buffer yards. There is a required 30-foot buffer yard next to single family between zones. So if that building was demolished, they'd then have to implement that 30-foot buffer yard. There would just be other zoning requirements that are meant for buffering zones.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. France?
So in that neighborhood development code, it's assuming that the property is sold and something else is going to go there requiring this 30-foot buffer yards, and there's clearly really, especially to the side where the house is, there's every bit of space is needed on that site. So would a fence be required, or does the code not allow fences as buffer yards?
There's different combinations that they can explore. Any reduction in that would require a variance by the board, so all of the neighbors would be notified again, and it would be subject to a public hearing.
But if it's changed tonight, there's no requirement on the property owner to put a fence up because it's now a commercial zone between them and the house, the adjoining house.
Correct. The property itself is pre-existing, non-conforming. Right. And the owner to the north hasn't had any concerns. He's been in contact with the applicant.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have signed up to speak.
Can I make one more comment?
Oh, sure. Sorry.
So, back to what, hold on, Mr. Quinn, I'll just say, because your last name's a bit difficult, was mentioning, for example, previous tenant, SU zoning would only allow a 4 square foot sign, wall sign, so that's kind of an issue you have to do a variance for that, and just things to be able to allow tenants, a bit easier for us as property owners too. Another thing with the conformity of the auto sales is if we lose a tenant and we can't find a tenant, from my understanding, within a year, we lose that conformity. And then we have to start that process if we're even able to get it back again. So something that's been a long-standing dealer for 40 plus years, or 30 years, I'm not sure, older than I am, we want to keep it that way, and we think the lot is designed for that, or the property is designed for that. Thank you.
Thank you for clarification. All right, we will recess the public hearing for discussion among commissioners. Mr. Simpson.
Just for quick clarification, it's pushing 50 years, because I remember it's always been a car sales space. But just for context, it is a block away from the railroad track. It is behind, that space is already industrial, and there is residential across the street and just to the north, but it's like at the end of a kind of fairly commercial space. So you have a liquor store next to it, which used to be a gas station. Then you have a Dixie Chili, so that's fast food that's already kind of in that space, and that goes all the way up through for another like 2 or 3 blocks or so. So I don't see a reason why we shouldn't say no to this, even with the valid concerns being close to residential spaces. It's already it's pretty buffered from the residential space to the east with 4 lanes of traffic, Madison Avenue. And even along the alleyway, Donaldson, you have 2 or 3 industrial buildings. There's a huge industrial building next to the one that's across the street. So it's I don't see a problem with this.
It looks like there's actually an auto body place and then another auto body place just to the south. Is that accurate?
Yeah. On the other side of the Dixie.
Any other thoughts? Comments? All right. Hearing none, we'll return to the public hearing. Any clarifications needed of staff? If not, we will close the public hearing. We will entertain a motion. One of our City of Covington reps like to make a motion.
I will make a motion. Make sure I have the right one. Let's see. All right, so I would like to make the following motion with reference to file number PC-26-0004-NA, P1 Holdings LLC, regarding an area of 0.29 acres located on the east side of Donaldson Avenue at the intersection of Madison Avenue. I move to approve the map amendment based on the facts and considerations contained in the staff report and based on testimony of staff and witnesses present at the hearing, finding that it is generally consistent with the comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
All right, so first by Commissioner Flem, second by Commissioner Simpson. Any discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Flem?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Wickman?
Yes.
Commissioner Baumgartner? Commissioner Bridges?
Yes.
Commissioner DeAngelis?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickey?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunham?
Yes.
Commissioner France?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidrich?
Yes.
Commissioner Herman?
Yes.
Commissioner Janes?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Burling?
Yes.
All right, there you go. So, if no one appeals this decision, it will become effective in 21 days. If someone wants to appeal the decision, have it determined by the City of Covington itself, they can sign the form over there. But otherwise, good luck. And Ms. Bryan, thank you for the good comments and the feedback on that. That was helpful. All right. Let's see. That's it for our public hearings. We have reports from committees. Executive, nothing really on the horizon. We met recently in preparation for the budget, but otherwise in pretty good shape. Direction 2030.
Just really quickly, we're at the end stages of getting the final draft of the housing study. We should be getting a presentation soon.
Great. Yeah. Subdivision review.
Nothing to report.
Z21. Nothing to report. Reports from commission members.
I'd like to make a report. With some regret, this will be my last meeting as a Kenton County Planning Commissioner after I don't know how many years, 18, 20, who knows. Serving under 3 different mayors, multiple appointments by some mayors. I received an email yesterday requesting a possible change, and I don't wish to be an impediment to the city's desires, so I'll be retiring. I won't be resigning, I'll be retiring. And it has truly, I've never asked to be on zoning and planning. I remember my first time, somebody asked me and I said, if you can find somebody else, please do so. I was a former city councilman for 1 term. And 3 weeks later, there was a box of books and binders on my front porch. And I called somebody and I said, what the hell is all this? And he goes, oh, you were appointed to the Zoning and Planning Commission. I said, Well, it'd be nice to get a phone call to, you know, they probably sent me an email, which I didn't read for, I don't think we had emails back then, I'm not sure. But it has truly been an honor to serve with all of you currently, all the past commissioners, past staff, past directors, and Mr. Neltner, Cody, Patrick, Andy especially, and my special favorite, Pam Bushelman, and Sharon, the receptionist, and Michelle, and especially Nicole, my financial tutor. It has really been a truly great honor, and I don't wish to protract my departure. I have 7 months left on my term, I think. I don't want to have anything with the commission. This is priority. These are good people here, and I don't want anybody to get in a pissing contest with the city of Park Hills and all this, so I've chosen to retire, and it's truly been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
Well, I'll say it's very regrettable. You have been a fantastic commissioner for 2 decades. You've done a great job as our treasurer, which is you know, a lot of additional extra work, and been a great sounding board, and reliable as all get out, and a great man. And I think you know, I think it speaks to the type of person you are, that selflessly, you know, you're doing this at the request of, I guess, somebody at the city, and you don't have to, but that's the type of guy you are. So, been honored to serve with you, and consider you a very good friend. So you'll be missed.
And just to add additional comment, I would like to make additional comment. The executive committee gets $1,000 a year. All our commissioners get $50 a meeting. You don't do this for financial gain or political movement. I've done this just as a service to the community. I started the tree board in Park Hills. I was a founding member and first vice president of the Northern Kentucky Community and Urban Forestry Council, which is still going strong 30 years later, which I'm very proud of. And it's always been something to give back and to be a part of. And should you ever require my services, I'm always available.
All right, thank you.
Can I just say,
Thank you, Phil.
for a person who's sat on here the longest and been through 2 bouts with you, I will miss you greatly for the wealth of knowledge that you bring, the impartial information that you bring in. It is invaluable to all of us. It's been invaluable to me for 25 years now. I'll get myself in trouble. I am disappointed. I don't want to say it. I'm very disappointed in the misinformation that's out there in what we do. We are a planning commission. We are not a board. We have nothing to do with a board. We are here. We may represent the city. I represent Independence very much so. But I am here for the whole county. I represent everybody in the county. I only have interest in Independence. I only vote for Independence. I don't. I vote for every city out here. I look for everything that's good in every city. I protect every citizen in every city, not just the city that I represent. It's county. For a city to be so short-sighted, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed to see you walk away, but I'm so proud of you for all the things that you have brought to this planning commission, the respect that you have brought, the dad jokes that you've brought a time or 2. But I'm very proud to have served with you for this long, and I'm proud that you're walking away with your head held high.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Well, that stinks. Any other reports from commission members? Reports from legal counsel?
No report.
All right. Reports or announcements from staff?
Just really quick, I would like to thank Perrin for filling in for Matt Smith tonight. Thank you very much. Appreciate you stepping in and doing that. And also, just on behalf of staff, I'd just like to thank Mr. Ryan for his service as well, and best of luck with everything you do in the future.
Thank you.
Any general correspondence? I don't remember seeing any correspondence of general nature. It was just on the other matter. So we have none. Any new business? Any public comments?
I'm just gonna add one new business.
Yes.
Sorry.
You can't do that.
You're
retired.
That's at the end of the meeting. If staff or the commission can let the city know that there is an opening for this position, I'd appreciate it, because I will not be communicating that. Thank you.
Yes. Public comments.
Sure. I don't know if my name Ben Bach. I'm from Independence. I really appreciate when you guys dive in and stick to these are the rules. This is the law. This is as written. And from hearing previous comments, I didn't think I would need to comment on the parking situation, and not to close the barn door after the horse is out. But I would encourage you to read that statement of what the legislation says. If you wouldn't mind, I could just read it real briefly.
What legislation are you referring to?
One second here, let me pull it up. It was in the slide that PDS provided, KRS 100.324. It mentions that your body advised the referring body whether the project is in accordance with the comprehensive plan, not whether you approve it or disapprove it, just that it's in accordance. The following the immediate sentence says, if it disapproves of the project, it shall state the reasons for disapproval in writing and make suggestions for changes, which will, in its opinion, better accomplish the objectives of the comprehensive plan. Better implying comparative, that there's a spectrum that could be addressed. So I just wanted to add those two extra bits for context.
That's a good point. We've been advised that, we're to determine if it's in accordance with the comprehensive plan or not. And so, but thanks for sharing that. Any other public comments? No? You sure? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
First by Commissioner Ryan, second by Commissioner Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.